Right, so next job is to extract the split pin from the clevis pin. That must be a split pin, but I don't really know what a clevis pin is. But it retains the mixture control cable to its linkage. That's the linkage. So what I'll do is I'll just disconnect these nuts and bolts through here. So I've got my 1/2 inch ratchet spanner on the front, and I'm holding it with a, there we are, loosened. Brilliant. They're rather good, these ratchet spanners. I got them in America, where I understand that's still their standard sizes. Good, so that one's done. I'll just get the same on that one, and hopefully I can get this split pin and clevis pin out. Okay, so that is a bit precarious there. I've got the spanner on the back of that nut. Just with one of them disconnected, it's far easier to get my hand on the other one. Okay. It's loosened that one. Should be easier to get a 1/2 inch in there somewhere. Not easy at all. Oh, they don't half make it easier, these ratchet spanners. Brilliant. Whoops. Drop that one. I think it might just be easier to just slightly reassemble that so I know how it goes back together when the time comes. That way. Good. Just going to find that nut that fell through, and that's off. So hopefully now I can get to this split pin and clevis pin. Okay, so the split pin actually breaks, so I'll have to get another one of those, and then I've disconnected that from the linkage. I take it that's the clevis pin, but I'll have to look at that later. The next job is to release the spring, the throttle return spring, which must be the spring that does that, and same thing, cable. So I've got another split pin there to release the throttle cable. I'll do that now. Okay, so there's my clevis pin, and I've removed the split pin. I'm going to remove the spring from the throttle return cable, and then we'll just take this split pin off here and remove this linkage as well. Just making a note that feels fairly fairly slack. So it looks like that end of that spring just went through a tiny little hole at the end of that heat shield down there. So that's it's much more rounded at the top. It's a little bit more of a hook shape at the bottom of that spring. So I know how it goes back together. And then that split pin is folded round rather nicely through that hole. So I'm just going to have to break that off there and get that off. Okay, so we've managed to disconnect the split pin and we've removed the spring that returns this throttle cable back. The next job is to remove this nut here, which retains, oh, it's coming apart, a vent pipe from the top of the carburetor chamber. That's the same as two of those. So we remove that. There's a washer. Oh, there's another little washer there as well. So I think at the moment I'll just return that to the top so we don't lose it. And we'll do the same with that one. So I'm going to get a washer between that nut and the pipe, and there's a little black washer there, I don't know what they're called. Right, so I'll remove those vent pipes and I'll just reassemble that bolt and the washer so we don't lose anything. Okay, so I've just put that bolt back on the top of the float chamber. So we have a nut and we have a washer, and then we'll have the brass disc there from the end of the vent pipe, and then we'll have that little black washer that sits on top of the float chamber. So bolt, washer, brass loop from the end of the vent pipe, little black washer underneath that brass disc. I'll just put that there so we don't lose it. Good. And then we'll look at the next job, which is actually to remove the other nut from, I think this is the flange, I think they call it the flange. So there's another nut underneath, and then I think we can lift the carburetors away. Okay, so I needed a 9/16 spanner to remove these nuts underneath the carburetor, and it's suggesting now that I can lift that away. I've disconnected those. That is on the manifold. There's one of the washers from the nut. There should be another one under there. There it is. So just 4, 7, 9/16, did I say? 4 9/16 nuts, and hopefully the carburetors lift carefully away. No, they don't, because there's a small tube under there. I'm just going to pop them back. Ah, that must be, yeah, there's a small tube here which I will disconnect. Not sure what that is. Right, that must be, well, the only thing I hadn't done was a vacuum pump. So again, I'm not sure what a vacuum pump does. But it comes off the back of this carburetor, which is exactly what it says in the instructions. Disconnect the vacuum pump and then trundles round the back of the engine and goes towards the distributor. That's what that does. Right, so that's the vacuum advance. Gosh, that's what that is. So yes, of course, that makes perfect sense now. Just didn't know what it looked like. So hopefully move that vent pipe. Yeah, good. They feel free. Fiddly. No, because then I've got a fuel pipe. No, that's still not going to come out yet. There's a fuel pipe at the top. Right, so that's fine. There's a fuel pipe. Let me get rid of that. That's going to need a nice big spanner on it. I think what I'll do is just thread that back underneath for the time being. So that's, right. So at least they should now gently be removable, and then we could give them a good old clean. Good. Done.